support our members in need in this time. So please email the office. Sometimes it's just about writing a card for Shelley, for Lynn. It's maybe doing a drive and helping with groceries, whatever is needed. If you can lend your hand, please email the office and we'll connect you with the mitzvah committee to organize all of this. Thank you. So Shelley, this Shabbat is for you. That's really how you enter into Shabbat. You bring within the circle all of the parts of the community. Here, there, all of those we hold in our hearts, in our prayers for healing. Because Jewish celebrations, Jewish holidays like Shabbat is always celebrated in community. And so we think of all of our members and we bring them into the space with us. And as we create this circle of community around us here in this space, and you at home feeling the togetherness right now, we also enter into Shabbat with tzedakah, with acts of generosity. The practice of generosity is one of the most powerful practices to open the heart. That is part of our tradition. We make it mandatory to practice generosity. It sounds paradoxical, but it comes from a place that we know that the people in need are in need whether or not we feel generous on any given Shabbat. The need is still there. And so to make sure that no one grows hungry for Shabbat, we have this tradition, this millennia-old tradition of giving a little bit of our abundance so that we can feel abundant as well. And we can also know that we are putting our energies into healing the world. On this month, we support a very important organization. It's called RIP, Rest in Peace Medical Debt. It's a very interesting name for an organization. Rest in Peace Medical Debt. It's because, it happens. People come around and realize that there are families all around that are suffering from the burden of having to pay for the medical support they received. Sometimes it becomes unsurmountable. And so this organization empowers all of us donors to relieve millions of people who are oppressed by medical debt. And the way they do that is that they look at the neediest families first. And so the money goes first to those who are really weighed down by the burden of debt. And then the next families, and then the next families. So we have our tzedakah box in the back of the sanctuary, as we always do. Feel free to meander there if you're not lighting candles tonight. At home, I hope you have your own tzedakah box, and if you are so inclined, you can directly right now from your computer go to the Bet Alef website and go to donate and scroll down to tzedakah, Shabbat tzedakah, and your money will be going directly to Rest in Peace Medical Debt. So while you do that at home, while those of you lighting candles come forward to light, we are engaging here in a nigun that was created by Shefa Gold. It's not in your prayer book, so don't look for it. Celia, are you joining the candlelighters? As for every Shabbat, we invite members of our community to come forward. And as they light their candle to let us know, to share with our community what they are lighting for. So on our left, Paula Chester-Liebes is lighting a candle to express her overflowing gratitude for her grandson. His name is Solomon. He's born to Jenna and Ben last Thursday a week ago, August 26th. He's a healthy baby, and the mom is as well. And she says, Baruch Hashem, blessed be the one. And we say a big mazel tov to you and to your family. Next to Paula are Janet and Barry Lewine, and they are lighting tonight in celebration after almost 20 years as a housing planner with the city of Bellevue, and in recent years as a senior planner and the city's affordable housing lead, plus almost 10 years prior to Bellevue as a planner at City of Seattle and City of Issaquah. Janet, that was a long sentence to get to Janet. Janet retired yesterday. She made it. And she is, as you can tell, really looking forward to spending more time with family and friends. And we wish you all the happiness in doing that in the many years ahead. Next to them, we have Celia, who made it. And she's lighting in celebration of accepting a job offer this week. Mazel tov. She is now the new inside sales representative for a Washington And I lit a candle as well, really on behalf of all the musicians and all of us, leading services from the Bima, lighting a candle on behalf of Jal Feldman, in honoring and commemorating the passing of his father, Gilbert Feldman, Friday, August 27th. He was 90 years old. As I ask you, what would you be lighting a candle for on this Shabbat? What is the light moving, yearning to be kindled within you? Perhaps something you're celebrating, something you are honoring, something you are commemorating, something you just want to bless, just out of gratitude for whatever you encountered this week. The gesture from a stranger or good news that you received. Whatever that is, the blessing, the words are on page 1 in your prayer booklet. And traditionally we call ourselves that which we are blessing is the light awakening within each of us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Thank you. And just to share with those of you who are here and those of you who are at home, there are people who were lighting candles from home tonight, who I've not mentioned yet, but who wanted to share with all of us what they were lighting candles for. Linda Moldauer was lighting a candle for Jen and Kevin Spear in celebration of their safety, riding out the storm that hit their community. A tree fell on both cars and the roof came off of their house. But thankfully they were safe riding out the storm in the basement. Joshua Russert was lighting a candle tonight in honor and memory of Elizabeth Egan, his stepmother and mother of Josh's half-brothers. She passed away on Sunday, August 22nd. John Danker was lighting a candle tonight for Kay Scala, who died suddenly last week. He studied Torah with her and her husband John every Saturday afternoon. And John is also lighting a candle for his father, Henry John Danker, on his 28th yard site. Chiki Hannon is lighting a candle tonight with much gratitude for the Bet Alef community and the many years it has enriched her spiritual life. She says, blessings for a sweet and healthy new year. L'Shana Tova. She just became a member again. Welcome back. And Elizabeth Heath is lighting a candle tonight to celebrate her successful move to an apartment at Daystar Retirement Village, near where she used to live. And she deeply appreciates all the help she received from the members of Bet Alef in the process of moving and settling in. It's wonderful that, wherever you are at home or here, that you are included. You're part of this space and this moment in time as well. I've learned really over the past year and a half to really appreciate, in fact, I shouldn't be doing that. See, I go back to my old habits. I should stay here. Also for physical distancing, but also because of the light. So people can see me at home. I've learned to appreciate the possibility of connection, even through a media as a computer or a TV screen. There is something to know when there is a shared experience that remotely or in person, you can in fact feel the community with you. And just saying the names of all of our members and still being part of their life and what they are lighting their candles for here or there just feels like we are all one. The next song is one of my favorite songs. As you know, most of the book here is my favorite songs, but I always like to say that it always reminds me and brings me back to Israel a little bit. It's Al Kol Ele. It is on page 16 of your prayer book.
Al hadvash ve'al ha'oketz, al hamar ve'hamatok, al biteinu hatinoket shmoreli hatov. Al ha'esh ha'mevo'eret, al ha'mayim hazakim, al ha'ish hashav habayta min ha'mechtakim, al kol ele, shmo על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על ביתנו התינוקת שמור לי הטוב, על האש המבוערת, על המים הזכים, על האיש השב הביתה מן המרחקים, על כל אלה, על כל אלה, שמור נא לי אלי הטוב, על הדבש ועל העוקץ, המר והמתוק, אל נטע כה נטוע, אל תשכח את התקווה, השיבני ונשובה אל הארץ הטובה.
Thank you. We are on page 5 now, and I invite you to rise for the Baruch Hu. We say together, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Bless the Eternal, the one who is blessing. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Blessed is the Eternal, the one who is blessing eternally. And at the top of page 6, we share together the 6 words that are the central affirmation, the central mantra of our tradition. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel. The Eternal manifests as all that is. The Eternal is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is the name, the splendor of its presence, shines eternally.
As below, so above, as without, so within. I let go and let love on a breath. I begin from the dark. Flame that's intending Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. There is one, all is one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. There is one, all is one. Shalom, 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 shalom,
Please be seated. We continue back on page 6 with the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך
בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And we turn to page 8 for the Amidah, and we rise again. And we say together, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal One, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid V'Yagid Tehillah Tehilatecha Tehilatecha
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah ואלוהי רחל, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות. ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה, רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים. ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. Please be seated. I brought a prop tonight. I never bring props, or very rarely. But I brought a prop tonight. It's one of my favorite books. It's the one that, you have to read every summer leading up to the high holidays. It's from Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory. He used to be called the Zen Rabbi, because he was into Zen before he was a rabbi, kind of like me. And he wrote this book. Oh, wait, there you go. This is real, and you are completely unprepared. It's a great title. And it's the book that he wrote to lead up to the high holidays. He actually starts with Tisha B'Av. It's the day of mourning, usually happens early August. Could be end of July, early August. And that day is a day of fasting. One of the few days of fasting beyond Yom Kippur throughout the Jewish calendar. It's a day of fasting and of mourning because it commemorates the destruction of both the first and the second temple. They both were destroyed on the same day. And it's not a day of bad luck, although since then it's been known to be a day where you should avoid anything risky. But the first temple was destroyed in 586 BCE by the Babylonian armies of the king Nebuchadnezzar, and that's when we have the first exile to Babylon, 586 BCE. 70 years later, we come back, some of us come back from the exile. There are going to be Jews living in what was then Babylonia and becomes Iraq since 586 BCE until really the years after the creation of the State of Israel, where the Muslim government, in retaliation for the creation of the land of Israel, the State of Israel, is going to expel all its Jews from Iraq. Literally 2,500 years, over 2,500 years of Jewish life in Iraq, wiped overnight. A tragedy in and of itself. But in 516, several of us came back because the new king, the Persian Empire, who had since then conquered everything again from the Babylonians, was a very kind emperor, and he invited the Jews to come back to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. So the second temple was began to be rebuilt in 516. It was known to be twice as big as the first temple. People who were still, were alive when the first temple was destroyed and were in their 70s and 80s, you can imagine, when the second one was built, said that the first one would have fit into the second temple. And then Herod, much later, enhanced that majestic temple even more. And that temple was destroyed in 70 of the Common Era by the Romans. And they waited They waited until the 9th of Av. Tesha B'Av means the 9th of the month of Av. They waited for the anniversary. The Romans, they knew, they waited for the anniversary of the destruction of the first temple to destroy the second temple on the day. It was not enough that they were destroying our temple. They did it, even to hurt more. So the book begins with the 9th of Av and goes through the rest of the month of Av and preparing for the high holy days, then through the 30 days of the month of Elul that we are finishing now, 3 more days until Rosh Hashanah. And the title, This is Real, and You Are Completely Unprepared, is really paradoxical because it's not a book to get you prepared. You would think, right, you chose this title, now you are prepared, you're going to read the book, and by the time you're done with the book and Rosh Hashanah comes around and the high holidays comes around, you'll be prepared. That is not the point of the book at all. The point of the book is that you have to show up unprepared. And I love that counterintuitive take that the book takes. Because, who of us want to come to anything unprepared, right? We come to even a conversation we're going to have with someone. We rehearse the conversation. We dress for the conversation. Whatever it is, we come always prepared. We don't like to be taken aback, to feel unsettled. Our ego just doesn't like that. So the ego does everything it can to prepare, to be as prepared as possible, to be as rehearsed as possible. And we kind of live our lives from that place of needing to know our stuff, needing to be prepared, needing to be rehearsed, so that, God forbid, things get out of control. The ego cannot stand not being in control. We're miserable when we are not in control. Everything in our life is habits. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, think about the things you do almost every day in the same order, at the same time, in the same way. I know I do, so I'm usually not an exception to the rule. Because we want to control every moment of our day. So this is real, and you are completely unprepared is an invitation to a different kind of consciousness. Because when we come prepared, whatever we encounter isn't real, is it? It's rehearsed. I say this, and I expect you to say that. I do this, and I expect the world to do that. Right? We cover the world over with our expectations. Always, because we want to make sure that things that are going to happen are known entities. So that we can control, we can be in charge of our life. So we always present to the world a well-adjusted facade of ourself. And this book and this title is telling us that's wonderful in and of itself, but that's not real. We layer over our experience a set of rules and expectations that in fact prevent us from encountering the moment as it is. It's like when we meet someone we know, we expect them to behave a certain way because we know them to be so-and-so and behaving so-and-so. And we are like shocked when suddenly they are not behaving the way we've known them to behave all this time. And when, if you know that of yourself, if one day you behave differently than you usually do, the person who loves you the most looks at you and says, well, that's not you. What's going on today? You're not yourself. Why are you not yourself? What they're saying is, you're not behaving the way I've been habituated of having you behaved. You're not behaving the way I know you to be. And you should be the way I know you to be because that's the way I know you to be. And now I'm confused and I don't like to be confused. Now see, I'm getting angry. And so many of us, sometimes in life, I've tried to go a different direction, to just, the hell with this, I'm going to do something different. How many times the voice within says, you can't do that? That's too risky. You don't know what that's going to be like. You don't know what to expect. It's really putting all your money into just one basket, and that's not safe. Do what you know. Do what you know. Right? And so oftentimes we have this inner dialogue that keeps us in the known, in the routine of the known. And we haven't noticed, but over time, over the years, we have closed ourselves off into a certain kind of persona, a certain kind of identity, a kind of a narrow path within which we fit, that is comfortable, that is known. But it's not real. Like if we want to meet the real, then we have to move beyond the expected. If we can move beyond the expected, maybe we can meet the real. Can we see each other for the first time, even though we've seen each other for years? Can we discover anew who that person is right now? And can we allow them maybe to be unexpected in that moment? To think differently, to have a different vision of life perhaps. I don't know, to dress differently that we've known them to dress all these years. And to say yes. To say yes to the moment as it comes to us. And to show up in that moment just as we are. Not as we want to project ourselves to be, not that we want to rehearse ourselves to be, but just in the rawness of who we are right now. And if someone says, so how are you today? And you're not feeling good today, you just say, I'm not feeling good today. I'm sad today. I'm upset today. It's okay to say that, but we have been conditioned to just gloss over when someone asks you, how are you? That's the most amazing, most compassionate, more loving thing anyone can do, if they really mean it, because, we also don't mean it. We say, how are you? But, we don't want to hear. We are afraid, actually, that somebody actually might be real and tell us, actually, how they are. Because then we have to deal with that. And we always have like, oh, I'm not doing well today. And then we want to jump in to fix it. Because we can be with somebody not feeling good today. We want to make it better immediately. But no, can we just hear somebody says, I'm not feeling too good today, and just be with that? and just hold that person as they are right now, within all their rawness and vulnerability and their openness, their flaws, and not want to fix anything. And just, I hear you. Do you want to share? I can be an ear. I don't have solutions, but I can be an ear. I can be a presence for you if you so choose. Most of the time, we just don't even hear. We just move on. How are you? Blah, okay, now let's do this, right? We're already moving on to the next thing because we're caught in that story and we're really rarely present to here and now. Why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because this week's Torah portion is Nitzavim. You know the Torah portion Nitzavim because on Yom Kippur is the Torah portion that is chanted. And you know how it goes, how it starts. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem. You are standing here today, all of you. It's as if it's Moses, God speaking to the entire tribe of Israel and telling them, you are standing here today, all of you, before the Eternal One, your God. That's the convocation of Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, we come to stand in the presence of the One. You are standing here today. Some translate it as all of you. I like to translate it as whole of you. The totality of you. All the bits and pieces of you. Here, standing in the moment. In the Torah, it says your leaders, your elders. It kind of lists all of the different jobs that the people of the tribes have, right? But I read it differently. I read it, your leader self, like the leader within. Your wise self within. Your controlling self within. Your inner child. Also your alienated part of self. Your destructive part of self. But also the part of self that is always deeply connected to source. See, the book is inviting us to embrace the messiness of life, because that's real. That's true. To come to this moment, to every moment, with the totality of who you are. Even the less palatable parts, maybe especially, to bring those into the light, to heal those parts. Because that's the only way, if we show up that way, that we're going to be able to truly know each other. Not know each other as the actor playing the part that we've been playing for so long, but that which is behind the mask, the true self, the true being. And believe me, when we're able to do that, we're going to realize that we are all the same. We all have the same fears, the same hang-ups, the same meshigas of not enoughness. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem. It's more like an affirmation that you are all standing here today. It is a spiritual practice that every day you might stand, wherever you stand, with the totality of who you are, unafraid, to know the sacredness, the holiness of who you are as you are. And when you are able to do that, you are in fact inviting others to do the same. And don't we all want to live a life that is more real? Don't we want to be surrounded with people that are more real, more true? I think we do. So these high holidays are coming really fast. They are just 3 nights away, Monday night. And this book and I are inviting you to show up unprepared. Really, it's a requirement. I'm making it mandatory. Show up unprepared, raw, with all that is here for you. And let your heart burst wide open to receive whatever is waiting for you to receive. That you might say in that moment, in that evening, on the days of awe, Hineni, I am here. Ken yehi ratzon. Amen. We are on page 18 in your prayer book. It's the song that is going to lead us into meditation tonight. I'm going to ask if, Karen, can you turn the lights off so we can have a little bit more darkness in the sanctuary. Echad be'echad, page 18. It's a reminder that is one into one, into one, into one. There is really nothing else but that oneness expressing as every one.
La kira kadi אחד באחד, אחד באחד, אחד באחד, אחד באחד. One into one, one becomes one. 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 ושמו אחד, שבת אחד באחד. 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 כי כאן על דילה למהבך באחד. להכירה קדישה לרזה דאחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. One into 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 one becomes one becomes one becomes one become one becomes one becomes one becomes one becomes אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד באחד. One becomes one becomes one becomes one become one becomes one becomes one becomes one become one into 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 one becomes one becomes one becomes one become one becomes one becomes one becomes one becomes one into 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 ושמו אחד, שבת אחד באחד. 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 אחד באחד, אחד באחד. אחד באחד, אחד
Who am I? Who am I beyond the roles? Who am I beyond the expectations? Who am I beneath the mask, the persona that I have been conditioned to present to the world? What is left when all of that falls away? When we don't have to pretend anymore? When we don't have to be anyone? What is left? What is always there, but never takes on any story? Never steps as an actor on the stage of life, but always observes the great play of the world. What is that simple feeling of being that I have always felt? That simple feeling of being that was felt when I was 4, 40, until right now. That has never changed. When everything else has changed. Who am I if I don't let the thoughts tell me who I am? That simple feeling of being that doesn't have a name. that presence within each of us. Is a shared presence. It is the still small voice within each of our hearts. It is the impulse for healing, for holding, for remembering. A healing of the soul that cascades into the healing of body. It is that healing that on this Shabbat we are calling forth. As we call the names of those you have inscribed on our community's healing list. The healing of soul, the healing of body, that our tradition invites through words of blessing. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, מי שברך אמותינו, שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא יברך וירפא. את קרייג וילסון, ואת דניאל קלארק, הילרי וילסון, פיליס לוין, Maxwell Bernard, David Mark, Richard Aaron Ben Chaim, Martin Yani, Marissa LeCabe, John Gorham, Donald Meadow, Kelly Reagan, Katie Margaret Banks, Susan Austin, Simon Garcia, Jerry Pettitz, Zoe Chaya Young, Lynn Carroll, Russell Kaufman, Eileen Wellens, Sid Hoover, Amy Lowe, Zeke Amstater, Juan Reyes, Alan Walton, Faye Verdon Goldberg, Amy Diane Bork, Sandy Morris, Katie Berry, Sydney Hannah Young, Arlene Ross, Dvora Levy, Linda Morris, Pam Lesner, Greg Lesnar, Chris Werner Mochel, Jeanette Lewine, Celia Curran. And we name in our hearts the names of those we hold on this Shabbat in light of healing. ימלא רחמים עליהם לחזיקם ולרפאותם ברפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף. And we sing a prayer for healing. It is on page 33 of your prayer book as the lights come back into the sanctuary. It says, Elna refana la. Please God, let healing be now.
Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. Elna refana lanu. Elna refana lanu. Restore strength of body. Help clarify our mind. Refresh a tired spirit. Rejuvenate our lives. Rejuvenate our minds. Refana lanu. Elna refana lanu. Thank you for all these blessings. Through all the days and nights. We celebrate the journey. This precious thing called life.
This precious gift.
Elna refana lanu. Elna refana lanu. Elna refana lanu. Elna refana lanu.
On page 12, we find the words of the Aleinu, and we rise. And we say together, we are the ones given this way of praising the Holy One of all being, that we might understand and express the greatness of the one who shapes all creation. We celebrate our uniqueness and that of others, and seek to discover the wonder that we are. Therefore, we bend the knees, we bow, and we proclaim our gratitude before the ruler of all rulers, the Holy One of all being. As it is said, then we shall truly realize the Eternal One as universal being, and on that day, the unity of being shall be celebrated by all. Alenu leshabeach la'adon hakol, lated gedula leyotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו And before we share together on page 13 the Mourner's Kaddish, we take a moment to hold in our hearts, in our mind, the memories of those we remember on this Shabbat. Those who have journeyed alongside us and are continuing now in the next level of being. In a time of memory, as we hold those who have made their transition, we connect with energies of acceptance, energies of forgiveness, ultimately energies of love. We bless that which has been, that we might be more able to be aware of the preciousness of every moment we get to share with one another. Every moment. On this Shabbat, we hold in light of memory those who have made their transition in recent days and weeks, for whom we hold Shiva or Shloshim. Elizabeth Egan, Joshua Russert's stepmother. Gilbert Feldman, Jal Feldman's father. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those who have made their transition in the past year. Dr. D.J. Schuler, Jerry Crouch, Fern Danker O'Connor, Gary Marmer, Lauren Lee, Sumvang Sisamuth, Sari Lou Coden, Marco Antonio Florian Corona, Klaus Schuler, Bill Harris, Michael Ruff, Irvin Faludi, Rebecca Risman, Paul Ponton, Mark Montefusco, Mark Sinclair, Carol Cohen, Carl Robert Finkelstein, Judy Turin, Ava Boyadosh, Daryl Summers, Gloria Funston, Yitzchak Leib Ben Bertha Aaron, Norman Lubitsch, Marcia Whelan, Jack Cohen, Jeffrey Hollingsworth, Francesca Tolchin, Jaden Jones, Patrick Hennelt, Stephen Wayne, Mike Levin, Jeannie Warner, Willard Harlow. On this Shabbat, we also hold light of memory those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their transition, happens at this time of the year. Gussie Wiseman, Henry J. Danker, Jill Fine Abels, Robert Paul Litz, Samuel Behrman. And we name in our hearts those we remember on this Shabbat. And we share. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך ירוצה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל בחטא ושירתה, תוש בחטא ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all the household of Israel, and for all the peoples of the world. And let us say, Amen. And as the bread, the challah and the wine are coming and are about to be shared amongst those here, and that's going to take a few minutes. Let me just, you can be seated. Let me just share a few announcements. We have tomorrow morning our ongoing class on the exploration of the Guide of the Perplexed, the famous book by Maimonides, written about 1,000 years ago. And we've been going through its pages for several months now. And believe me, it doesn't look like it's been written 1,000 years ago. It's been really enriching and a real powerful one of the first books of philosophy from the Jewish tradition. We didn't used to have philosophers. We had theologians, a lot of them, but philosophers never. And Maimonides was one of the pioneers, probably the first or near the first Jewish philosophers ever to walk the earth. So we are exploring the Guide of the Perplexed. If you have never come or never been, it's always online. It's been online since we started. We're still perplexed. So you haven't missed anything. You can simply log on tomorrow at 10:30 and join in our perplexed selves, see if we can do something about it. Rosh Hashanah is Monday night and Tuesday morning. Our food drive is still happening. Though we're not coming back together in the space, you are invited to drop your donations to the Bet Alef office at Seattle First Baptist. Just come by and drop whatever you can donate. If you want to know what to donate, it's in our emails. And you can just, fill a bag and bring that. Seattle First Baptist is aware that even though we are not in our offices right now, they will hold your donations for us. Okay, I think I've done a good job enough, filling the space. Now that everybody has a little piece of challah, I hope I'm good. And a little cup of wine or juice, whatever. Karen, when you have a chance, I'll grab a little one as well. After everybody, that's okay. So if you have your cup of wine and if you have your piece of challah, we say together. Hopefully you're doing the same thing at home. You had the chance also, as I was doing the announcements, to do that. Sam, I have a little slice if there's one left. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam הבורא פרי הגפן. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
לחיים.
And hold your challah at home and in here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. I'm going to invite you to rise before our concluding song. It is still the month of Elul, and the shofar is sounded. Please put your masks back on after you have taken of the challah. Please rise. Yivdu et Hashem.
Hashem b'simcha, ivdu et Hashem b'simcha, o lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha, ivdu et Hashem b'simcha, o lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yadada, 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 yadada. Hashem b'simcha, ivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Ivdu et Hashem Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yadada, 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 Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yadada, 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 Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yadada, 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 Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana.
Shabbat Shalom.